Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Worldwide, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another episode of Everything EPL, your one stop for all the action and news for the Premier League. I'm here with my good friend Kaeman. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing good, honestly. After seeing that intro, this is very official. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, my friend. We got a lot to talk about today. Man City are good again. Arsenal destroying Spurs. Man United is Ollie is in danger. We don't know actually what is going on with Man United. We're going to discuss all the games. We're going to tell you all about Brighton. If they win tomorrow, they're going to be top of the league for the first time ever for them. A lot of action going on this weekend, Cayman. There's a lot going on and a lot to talk about. And I want to start right ahead, like Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, Man City. City dominated this game. They played their game.
Yeah.
It looked like to me that Pep Guardiola came to this game with a plan that he wants to play his game, while Thomas Tuchel came to stop City. Did is that tell us a lot about Guardiola as a proactive manager, while Thomas Tuchel, who was really good in the Champions League final and against City last year, is he a reactive manager? What do you think happened? Why Thomas Tuchel did this?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting shout here because I think the two biggest breakaways you see between those two managers is, the philosophy manager versus the reactive manager, the manager who's going to make changes to try to win the game. And here we kind of see the philosophy manager basically get on top here. I mean, Tuchel tried to make some changes and put a system to kind of react to what he thought Pep was going to do. But the philosophy just kind of went out in the end. I mean, Man City's quality was there. They had chances on chances on chances. And as we've seen time and time again, you just can't sit back against Man City and expect anything out of that result, right?
Yeah, some teams they did this, like Southampton last week they did this, but it looked like Pep absolutely mastered the game. He knew
Yeah.
exactly what to expect. Chelsea had zero shots on target. They only started going forward after conceding, and as you said, a corner after a corner, a shot after a shot. And actually City changed their corner plan in the 10th corner, and that's when they scored. They allowed the Chelsea defense, they allowed Jesus to like turn and take the shot. I
Yeah.
know it was a deflection, but it's not what we expect from a Chelsea defense. They allowed like the Jesus to like to do what he wants inside the 18. Is this City going back to say we are the best team in this league, no matter what everybody says, no matter what people do in the transfer market? Yes, we spent 100 million, and yes, we missed out on Harry Kane, but and Chelsea got Lukaku, and it's just City. Are they good again?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. I think this was a big test for them. And honestly, just the fact that without a striker, without a Harry Kane, slotting Gabriel Jesus in here, who's been playing on the right, and they still managed to come and just dominate this game and get a goal away. I mean, it just shows that they're top of the league for me right now. I mean, I think they're just the strongest team in the league.
It's the first time we see Lukaku and Timo Werner together up front. Do you think it worked?
I don't think it worked. I think maybe there's room for growth there because Timo Werner did a good job getting open and creating these counterattacks at points, but there's just no connection there. I mean, it's the problem Timo Werner's had all of last season, right? The final product's just not there. And Lukaku's someone who needs service, and he's going to bully the defenders. But if you can't get the ball to him, he's not going to score.
Oh yeah, Lukaku tried a couple of times to turn Diaz, but Diaz stopped him, and Laporta
Yeah,
stopped him. It's to me Lukaku. I'm not gonna go back to the days at Inter. I'm gonna go back to the days at Manchester. It's sometimes in big games he goes missing. I don't think he was missing. I think that the
I don't think so
midfield,
either. Yeah.
yeah, I think the midfielders were just a little bit like not creative enough to go forward, playing Kanti there and Jorginho and Kovacic. They were missing the Mason Mount. They were missing the Havertz. They're
Yeah.
missing that extra guy that will go forward. And it showed. It showed the whole game. They tried to play from the back. It didn't
Mhm.
work. They tried to play long. It didn't work. They did not have anything going for them. And again, Pep Guardiola, he's one of my favorite managers in like, I'm gonna do my thing no matter what you try to do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just go to the game and I'm gonna do my thing. They had 15 shots to the 5 from Chelsea, none on target. This is massive. I don't want to read a lot into it. I don't want to read a
Mhm.
lot into it for Chelsea, but
Mhm.
I want to like say that Man City showed that We're not down. We're here to win the league again for the
Yeah.
fifth time in 6 years.
No, it's scary. I mean, I do want to push back a little bit. I think Lukaku did have some moments that were really good, like when he turned Laporte top of the box there. I mean, that has to be a foul, or he's in on goal, right? So
Yeah.
there's moments where he's shown his quality. He does a good job of finding that weak-sided center back, or just the weaker of the two, and really making them punish. But that being said, yeah, I mean, this was obviously a Chelsea game, and I think the shout out you made to the midfield lineup on Chelsea, it's just very sit in and defend. And if you're relying on Kovacic to be your main creative source, then you have a problem. Like, you need a Mason Mount in there. You need some form of creativity, and like you said, they just didn't have it.
They didn't have it, and hopefully, Man City, they play Liverpool. We're gonna come to that at the end of the show next week. It's a big game. It's a big game. I'm gonna move to the other side of London, North London Derby. Your team, you're wearing
Yeah.
the jersey. I'm the people that
Mhm.
listen, you can't see, but Kaeman is on top of the moon. Kaeman is super
Oh
happy, my
man.
friend. My friend,
Yeah.
tell me, how did you feel going to the game as a Gooner, as an Arsenal fan? Did you feel confident?
I mean, I felt like we had momentum going into this game. We'd won our last two. Tottenham had lost their last two, and we've improved in really the areas where we've struggled in the past, especially against counterattack sided teams, and teams that are just going to get us on the break defensively. I think having Gabrielle in there just added a whole lot of confidence. Ramsdale kind of clears up a lot of these mistakes that we were having in the past. And you got guys like Tomiyasu who are just incredible bright spots. So for me, the one thing I was worried about going into it is Arsenal's intensity towards like the beginning of the game, because that's kind of been a problem over this season. And I mean, you saw today it wasn't a problem at all. We were the team that went out there and wanted it more. Um, Great, quick transitional goals from us, and credit to Nuno in the second half. I think he made some really good changes. I think Skip going in the middle, he should have started. That player has been phenomenal every time I've seen him. I thought Højbjerg honestly had a pretty decent game himself, but guys like Dele Alli just disappeared. Harry Kane had a nightmare of a game, and credit to Son, he gets a good goal, good on transition. But guys like Lucas Moura, mind you, he had a fantastic shot saved, but he kind of disappeared for a lot of that game. A lot of bad passes into the final third. So I do think Arsenal were the better team overall in the day. I think I would have liked to see Arteta maybe stay on the front foot a little bit into the second half instead of just being fine with the 3-point lead. But I mean, it's good game management. Ultimately, it worked. Arsenal ends up being the team that gets 3 points today. So yeah, I'm over the moon. I mean, what a performance from Emile Smith-Rowe. What a performance from Aubameyang. Odegaard was everywhere on that field, defensively, offensively. I mean, I'm in heaven today. I can't complain too much. It's the result I needed to see.
I haven't seen that energy from Arsenal for a long time. And the kids, they showed their worst. Smith Rowe and Saka. Oh my God, Saka today was absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal. The guy
yeah.
dominated that right side and going to the players, and instead of just dropping and do like, he was just
Hmm.
on target right away. I'm gonna move to Tottenham. I'm gonna tell you something. Nuno made a big mistake today playing Dele Alli and Ndombele
Yeah.
next to Højbjerg. They were exposed on the counter attack. These are two very attacking midfielders. They're good players, and Ndombele is one of the most fun players to watch, but he's not defensive at all. And
Hmm.
how are you gonna defend on the counter when you have two guys that don't want to be in that position? They didn't want to defend, and as you made a good shot, like Nuno fixed it second half, but it was, I think it's too late. 3-0 in the
Yeah.
first half. It was just
Yeah.
Arsenal's game to lose at that point, and
Yeah, I agree.
they dropped for 10-15 minutes, but that was it. Is this a new Arsenal we're gonna see?
I sure hope so. I mean, you see, the interesting thing about me is that typically you see a lot of this energy being built from the more senior players on the team, and you saw the energy coming from these younger guys on the side. Emile Smith-Rowe running through, Odegaard really just leading this front line and inspiring guys like Aubameyang and Partey to really just give it more energy. And like you said, I think Saka is just fantastic. I think we've played him a lot on the left-hand side this season, and I think putting him on that right-hand side, you just see the strength that he provides there. So I do think this is setting a precedent. There's a nice little roll that Arsenal is getting ahead, but there's still some games that for sure need to be tested before we can say that this is the new improved Arsenal, I think.
Oh, Ramsdale
But good
today
signs,
had
good
a
signs.
yeah, Ramsdale today had a massive,
Oh
massive,
man, and you see
massive game.
you see the energy he brings to that stadium too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's incredible. I think the way he attacks the ball, the way he builds possession,
yeah.
he's just miles ahead of where we were at beforehand. So all props to him for coming in and just bringing this energy.
Yeah, because he put Leno on the bench. He put Leno on the bench, and Leno is an international German goal. And then you put Ramsdale, who played for Sheffield United last year, and they dropped. And it's just it shows you that this goalkeeper is actually a top class goalkeeper. He just needed the right environment, and I think Arteta and having Ben White, Gabriel Tomiyasu, and Turney in the back provided a lot of comfort for the guy. Every one of them can play from the back, and they showed it today. He was there for stopping, and also, as you said, he was there going forward. It was joy to watch this Arsenal defense finally putting the pieces together and playing well.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
for Tottenham, is this Harry Kane's fault after the summer?
It's hard to just blame it on just Harry Kane. Honestly, I mean, there's definitely just parts of that team that you can't say it's all Harry Kane's fault for that. That being said, though, he hasn't scored. In the way that he was a prolific goal scorer last season. I mean, Golden Boot, most assists. You see, him and Son aren't linking up the same way that they were before. So in these ways, I think he is letting Tottenham down a bit. But it can't just be Harry Kane leading your attack there. I mean, I think across the board they have to do better because right now their only offensive options that they can consistently get besides Harry Kane is Son, right? So
Yeah.
if you're conceding goals and you're relying on one person to make a magic goal every single time, it's just not going to happen for you.
Yeah, I don't think I think this Spurs is it's gonna be a long season for the
Yeah.
Spurs fans. To be honest, this is gonna be a long season, and it looks like some players they just don't want to be there. Like Harry Kane, I felt like yes, he tried. He went back to track Saka for the second goal, but through all the game, like he wanted to be the creator. He wanted to be like in the middle. He didn't want to be the up top, and
Mhm.
it shows. It shows in the field. It shows in the field. I hope they recover because they're a big force in the English football. And I'm not sure if Nuno is the right guy. Is he going to get sacked? He's not going to get sacked. I actually don't know. But it's something that is this Spurs going back to the dark days back in the days maybe, but they have really good squad to recover from this hurricane.
Yeah.
Son, Ndombele, Lucas Moura, and
Right.
this is not a bad squad as people like to put it. Like this, Reguilon is a top left back. It's just, I think
Mhm.
it's just Nuno's plans they don't work. Uh,
Yeah, I think Nuno is a good manager, and I think he's just learning right now how to get the best out of his team consistently. And I think his main blunder was what you mentioned, and I brought up a little bit, is this fact that he played two very offensive midfielders and only one defensive midfielder in a situation where they are going to get attacked, and they're going to have a team coming at them, and you needed someone like Skip in there who's willing to get back there and actually put in the hard tackles. And that's something that he lacked in that regard. But I think right now he's just in the process of learning how to get the best out of these players. And he's had a tough run of things. I mean, Harry Kane, there's so much drama about him wanting to leave. And Ndombele, I've heard drama about him potentially wanting like a transfer request. So there's a lot going on in that regard for him trying to come together and pick his team. And he was hired pretty late into the window.
yeah,
So
he was their last choice though. He was
yeah,
their last
yeah,
choice.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think he's a good manager, and I think his counterattack sided football is a nice transition point for Tottenham. Whether or not he'll stand the test of time, I don't know. I think that's going to be pretty results based, honestly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I moved to Old Trafford. Cristiano Ronaldo and the guys there failed to win against an Aston Villa that was brilliant on the day. Man United created some chances, but they did not create enough. What like I just want to say that Aston Villa came with a plan, executed the plan. Hats off to Dean Smith, who set up his
Yeah.
team really, really well with the three in the back and the five, and playing Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins together up front it gave Manchester United defense a headache throughout the game. They did not just sit back. I know that the position stats showed it, but they created chances as much as Manchester United. I'm not just going to talk about the main point that Ollie talked about after the game. Was Watkins offside during that, or he was far? In my opinion, after watching it again, I think Ollie Watkins was not in the trajectory of the ball going to De Gea. Yes, he was ahead of De Gea, but I don't think this is the same as last week when Brighton played Leicester. But what do you think?
I think I might fall on the other side of things. I think he was in front of De Gea. I think he is directly, affecting the play. I mean, you see his arms are back. He's touching De Gea. He's in front of him. So I think in that way he does have an effect on the game. But I mean, look, like calls like that happen all the time, and it's not always going to go your way. And if you're relying on a call like that to beat Aston Villa, I think you might be in a bad spot if you're Manchester United.
They're still tied for second place with
Right.
13
No,
points. Yeah, like
at least
not,
on the day.
But to be honest with you, that the social media, the media, everybody is making us think that Manchester United are in crisis, and I don't think they are in crisis.
No, I don't either.
They're like Ollie's job is on the line. No, it's not. They are doing okay. They're 13 points, they're 1 point behind Liverpool. It's not bad at all. But why do you think the fans are giving Ollie a hard time?
I think it might be Ollie's reaction at the end of the game, complaining about penalties and everything like that. And whenever your manager does something like that and starts kind of like lashing out and complaining, it doesn't really give kind of like this strong, calm vibe that you're looking for, when you're looking at your team and they're like, oh, we have a plan and we're good. You know what I'm saying with that? It just it seems like when you lash out like that, that doesn't really portray confidence in the way that you want as a Manchester United fan. And I mean, look, they had a bad loss in the Champions League as well, in a game that they should be winning. Mind you, there's a red card that goes along with that game, but just stuff like that caused the fans kind of to pile up on the manager. And believe me, I as an Arsenal fan, I'm someone who gets the idea of just the fans piling on the manager maybe a little bit too early, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bruno Fernandes missing a penalty.
Yeah.
He missed 2 out of 23 for Man United. I think he has an excellent record for penalties. Yeah. Why are we talking about taking him off the penalties?
It's just because of Ronaldo. I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody's like, oh, why is Ronaldo not taking penalties? Bruno Fernandes should be taking penalties. His record's ridiculous. I think you keep him on that. You keep him on free kicks. It's just the Ronaldo effect, right? Just everybody needs to see Ronaldo be the star, and I mean, fair enough. One of if not the best players ever to play the game. So it's you get why fans get behind it in that kind of way. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes' record is amazing, and I mean, shout out to Emi Martinez. I don't know if you saw the trash talk he was doing to the players beforehand. I mean, that man's next level. You think of what he did, in the tournament that Argentina just won, right?
Yeah, the Copa America.
Yeah, the Copa America.
He did kind of similar ththings.
Yeah. I mean, he's told Gary Mina he needed his soul. Like that's a bad man in goal. And as a former Arsenal goalkeeper, I love seeing him do well, man. And he's on another level, I gotta say.
I think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league right now. There is no question about this. Going back to Aston Villa, brilliant result for them. I think they will finish, if they stay like this, I think they will finish top half of the table, if not challenging for like the top 7 places that take you to Europe. I think it's not bad. I think they actually replaced Grealish really well with Bailey, Danny Ings. I think this team is on to something. They're doing great. Another game that actually was one of the, in my opinion, that was the most entertaining game of the week. It's Brentford against Liverpool. Brilliant game. Brentford, it's absolutely fantastic. Thomas Frank is doing a great job with this team. Yeah. He adjusted to the Premier League really, really quick, putting his team forward all the time, Like
Oh yeah.
this is Mobile and Tony is giving Liverpool a headache the whole game. Tell me, I know you watched the game, you followed the game closely. Tell me, what do you, what, how Brentford, they never look back. They were down once, twice, and then they still came back.
I mean, it's how measured they are on set pieces. You look at two of their goals, right? Built off of set pieces, and even on their second goal, like you were saying, they just send people forward. I mean, you look Matip and Trent. I think there's five guys in the box for Brentford on that second cross, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a 3v1 on the back post. I mean, goals like that are going to happen, and I don't think they had any really particularly pretty goals, but they don't need to. I mean, they just play their system so well, and it's almost like they have kind of like a Leeds effect where I don't think people were really ready or expecting to play the type of game that they're bringing to the table. But unlike Leeds, they defend, and they do a good job getting back and staying behind the ball. Mind you, they were scored on three times today. But maybe besides, the Jota goal, which could have been done better, I think it's hard to save the other two. I mean, Mo Salah, brilliant goal to get his, 100th Premier League goal. What is it? Top four fastest people to ever do so.
He's the fastest for Liverpool, though. He's the
Yeah, fastest
fastest
for
in the
Liverpool.
history of Liverpool.
Yeah.
But to be honest, he missed a one-on-one when they were 3-2 up. It should have been, the game would have been killed off.
Mhm.
I think Liverpool are actually, they really like to be under the radar. Nobody's talking about Liverpool being challenging for the league. They're talking about Liverpool being there and they're about at the end of the season. But I think Liverpool are one of the title contenders. If
I
everybody
agree.
stays healthy, also depends on the African Cup of Nations when Salah and Mane, they're gonna go to play in the African Cup of Nations. This is gonna be really hard to replace them, but Liverpool, they have a plan, they execute the plan. As I always say, I like when teams come to the games knowing what they're gonna do, which is something that Liverpool and Man City, they always know what
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
agree.
do in the front foot the whole time. And I like that. But hats off again to Brentford, who never gave up the whole game. And I think they're gonna be safe. If they keep this momentum, they're gonna be safe. The way they play is absolutely second to none of the teams in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I agree. And what a goal from the Liverpool youngster, huh?
Oh
Just a
yeah. Curtis
laser beam
Jones.
top
Yeah.
left corner from Curtis Jones. Yeah, I mean, it was a fortunate deflection, but I mean,
But it looked like an arrow,
yeah,
right? Like it looked like a goal
incredible.
and as an
Yeah,
arrow.
oh
It
my
was
goodness.
absolutely fantastic.
I would have loved to see someone clock the speed on that thing. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, we can look up the stats. We can look up the stats later about that game. Like it is. But to be honest, it's today, like this weekend, Liverpool showed. I know that they tied 3-3, but they played really well. It's
Yeah,
just
they did.
they faced a team that is relentless. They never give up like other teams when they just sit back and just give up. And Ivan Tony gave them headache, and Bio gave them
Oh
headache.
man,
It was really, really,
it's
really
almost
good to
like
watch.
Ivan Toney almost seems like he should be playing for Burnley in some instances. I mean, how is this man winning everything out of the air, especially against like a Liverpool side? It's incredible, man. I mean, this is the dude who scored 36 odd goals in the
Yeah,
championship last
yes,
season, right?
yes, it
So,
was phenomenal,
and I mean,
phenomenal.
you even look at the first goal; it's a redirection from him across net. I mean, he
Right.
just finds himself in the right areas. But no, I mean, Liverpool obviously controlled possession most of the game. Classic Liverpool being relentless, great in possession, high pressure, a high defensive line. But the fact that they got scored on three times kind of shows that maybe there's some things they need to be working on defensively a little bit.
Well, yeah, Van Dijk. I think they weren't prepared to cope with Ivan Toney and Bio like being the duo up top. I don't think they
I
were
agree.
prepared for it. It looked like they weren't prepared. Every time the ball was long, it created a problem for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Every time. And as you said, he's brilliant on the air, Ivan Toney. It was really, really good to watch this battle between Matip, Van Dijk, and Ivan Toney and Bio. It was really, really good. I'm gonna move to Ellen Road, Leeds, West Ham. Man, Leeds are after last year, they are a little bit like they do not play really well on the the defense. The defense is wide open.
Yeah.
I know they create tons of chances, but
Yeah.
it's just it's just you can't play Premier League without having to defend and relying on outscoring the opponent, which clearly is not working for them. It's
Yeah,
clearly
yeah,
not
yeah.
working for them.
No, I mean, I think it's one of those things where I mentioned the Leeds effect from last season. I think this is the team where teams are starting to just figure out their system, and yeah, you're going to have to deal with a ton of chances, like you said, but their defense is going to be exposed. It's very easy to counter against Leeds, and you're going to get tons of opportunities. So I just think that this is a team that I don't even know if it's a player problem. I think honestly the type of football that they're playing is just going to cause these problems on defense. And right now teams are willing to take advantage of it. And I don't know if Bielsa is going to be willing to change.
I don't think he's gonna change. The guy during his
Yeah,
career, he never changed. I'm
right.
gonna go back to David Moyes. To be honest with you, the guy, he is doing a brilliant job. He came and
Oh
he said,
man.
"I'm a winner," and they are winning, and they are up there, and they're not backing down. Antonio scoring that brilliant second goal.
God, what an
It was an
amazing goal.
yeah, what an amazing touch, what an amazing goal.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean that man's been a monster so far this season. Just absolutely dominant. I mean, the only thing that makes me worried about West Ham is a little bit of what we kind of saw last night. I don't know if they have enough numbers or a deep enough lineup to where they can sustain this kind of energy. But man, are they, especially with guys like Antonio, because he's getting asked to do so much, and what he brings to the team is just a lot. The amount of miles he covers in a game too for someone who's playing as your central striker. Um,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, shout out. They have a great team. I mean, their midfield duo is phenomenal. I think they've really done well. I think Fornal's kind of messed up a bit of an opportunity, but they're finding themselves in really, really good spots like all the time. They had a majority of possession was back and forth, but they really were making good opportunities considerably. I mean, I just think they were the best team overall the entire game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. People complain that Leeds fans complain that Michael Antonio should have been sent off for the elbow on Millier, but I watched it again. I think
Yeah.
it's just a tussle between two. It's a foul, yes, disallowed goal,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not a red card. Do you think it was a red card?
No, I don't think that's a red card at all. I mean, they're both going up for the ball. He brings his arms out. It's to me, it's physical. Yeah, it's a foul. You shouldn't be elbowing anyone in the face, but it wasn't malicious, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's not something that I'd ever give a red for.
yeah, absolutely. But Leeds haven't won a game this year. Do you think they're gonna be in a relegation battle comes the end of the season?
Um, I think it might not be too far of a stretch. That being said, I think they are better than some other teams. So I think if they are in a relegation battle, it'll be at the top of the relegation battle. Um, but it's more teams like Norwich that I'm really worried about, or your Newcastles.
Oh yeah, these two teams are. I don't think they're gonna. I think this is the year where Newcastle gonna go down unless
Yeah,
something dramatic happens. Going back to Leicester, Burnley. Okay, it's a good point for Burnley on paper. However, without a win, and actually watching the game, it felt like Burnley they're trying to play an attacking football, not like every year. And again, it's a positive point for Sean Dyche trying to play an attacking football a little bit, but I don't think it's enough. I don't know what are they lacking quality of players because they have Ashley Barnes, they have Chris Wood, they have good players. So what is going on? I think, in my opinion, it's not the system they play. Maybe he needs to change a little bit.
yeah. It's. I mean, I think he's done incredible with with what he's done so far. I mean, the amount of money they've spent is virtually nothing, and I think what we're starting to really see is just the age of the players. I mean, he's got an older squad. They're kind of starting to age out right now, and this is the time where you need to start spending money to rebuild your team in certain areas. And I mean, this summer we really just didn't see Burnley do that. That being said, I think they are the the old school English football side with two big meatheads up top, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that gives teams trouble when their defense is lacking. And I mean, we saw that with Leicester today, right? And they're really missing Fofana right now with that horrible injury he had. And I think the hype around Solanke is starting to die down a little bit. I think he's been showing a lot of cracks in his game. But that being said, yeah, I think Burnley is a team who's going to need to be focusing on a rebuild pretty soon here as these players start to get a bit older.
Talking about age, there's somebody that doesn't get younger, but is not stopping Jamie Vardy. It's a Vardy world, and we just live in it.
Yeah,
Missed
yeah.
an open header, scored an own goal, went to score a brace, created tons of chances by his non-stop movement behind the defense. The guy, I just can't tell you how much I admire Jamie Vardy. I think Leicester are very unlucky against Brighton. They were very unlucky with the 2 goals against them. The penalty that was called against Vestergaard and the 2 goals that they were called offside. And today, I think Vardy's own goal is very unfortunate, yes, but he scored a brace. And I think I'm not worried for Leicester, but I think if they don't start to, as you said, if they don't tighten the defense more, I don't think they're going to make top 6, even though I think, in my opinion, they have the 5th best squad. And I kept saying this last episode and episode after episode. They have the best 5th squad in the league after the top 4, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and United. But it doesn't look like they're playing up to that level. And I don't know why. They're very unlucky. That's all I can say. They lost to big teams, but losing 2 points against Burnley, I don't think it's a good sign for them.
Yeah, it's I think Burnley is always a tougher game than they're given credit for. I think that's always a challenge. And yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I think it's just their defense is having problems, and you go against Burnley and your defense has problems, you're gonna see it. But to be fair, I mean, Vestergaard's new into the side. Solanke is starting to get a run of starting games, because he wasn't the first choice last year. So I think they'll be better off than what they're doing right now. I think, you give this defense time. I don't think they get scored on twice today or the other day, excuse me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think Leicester is a really good side. I think they have quality. I think you get people healthy again, like James Maddison, who's just been kind of having a string of injuries over and over again. I think you start to see momentum. I think, guys like Jamie Vardy defy logic. You asked me like a year ago what their problem is. I would have said they need to find a consistent replacement for Vardy, but apparently they never will. He'll be playing when he's like 50 years old. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna move to Goodison Park, Everton Norwich. Okay, so the game was a straightforward for Everton. Looking at the result, however, Norwich created some chances, but I don't think they have enough quality to stay in this league. And Everton are showing. Like they are showing that they are there this year to actually challenge for the European spots. They're tied 13 points with everybody else, City and Chelsea and everybody else.
Yeah, I want to be excited for Everton. I mean, Everton in a sense here, but at the same time, we kind of saw a similar thing happen last season where they got off to a really, really good start, and they arguably had a better manager last year with some more talented players. And then we saw that they just didn't have a deep enough roster to sustain that. So I'm worried that maybe that'll be the same case here. But no, I mean, look, they've been looking really, really good this season. They have that new young kid who's just been scoring every time he touches the pitch. I mean, I think there's been 1 or 2 games where he hasn't scored. But Norwich isn't exactly the biggest test in the world. I think it's tough because I think they had some really good signings, and I think they have some talented players on that team. But I think they are fine with getting relegated almost, if that makes sense. I think they've been like consistently building their team over the past couple seasons, and I think them getting relegated doesn't really affect those plans. So look, I don't think they're good enough to stay in the league this season, and I think they're just going to go back down, win the championship next season, and come back up again. I really think that's how it's going to
go. Probably because of 6 straight losses. I don't know when are they going to get their first point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, another team that is struggling for I think they're going to be struggling for survival. Newcastle, Steve Bruce, under a lot of pressure, but again, I think, and this is my personal opinion, I think Steve Bruce this year is trying to play an attacking football, which is what the fan want. want, but I don't think it's working. I don't know why. They scored a beautiful goal. Longstaff goal was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh man, yeah,
They played an amazing first half, but then second half, it looked like they were happy with the point. They didn't want to win, and
yeah,
I don't know what happened there.
yeah. Newcastle's one of those sides where it's tough because I mean it doesn't seem Steve Bruce has any backing from the manager or fans, so it's tough for him to go out there and really put his best foot forward. And I mean you look at their transfer business this summer, right? They spent their entire transfer budget on Joe Willock, and shout out to Joe Willock for all the success he had last season. And I mean I thought maybe he'd be getting into an Arsenal side this season, but $25 million for one single player when you have so many holes in your side, it's tough because I mean, if a guy like Joe Willock gets injured or Callum Wilson gets injured, what are you doing in that team? You're relying on just St. Maximin. It's tough. I just don't think they have the depth that it takes to stay in this league this year, especially if they want to try to do an attacking style of football for the first time. They just don't have the personnel for it. And I
They
mean,
haven't won a game.
yeah, I mean, and they do have good players. Like Almiron is a fantastic player. You know what I mean? I think Joe Willock is a good player. I think St. Maximin is fantastic. I think Callum Wilson's a great striker, but there's just too many holes in that team to where I think they're just going to get picked apart by the better sides, especially if they're trying to do an attacking style of football, which is something that Steve Bruce hasn't done for his entire career.
Yeah, absolutely. And Watford, to be honest, they showed yesterday that they belong. They belong in this league. They played second half as we're here to stay in this league. And I think Watford, the same as Brentford, they are not that there to fight for relegation. They are there to fight for top half of the table finish. And maybe I think Watford will finish between 10 and 12 or 13 or something like this. But they have a really, really good squad. Cisco is doing an amazing job with them. The team is playing really well.
Yeah, and I mean that's good for him, right? Because they tend to sack their managers every 6 months or so. So if he stays doing well, maybe he can avoid that chopping block. But no, I mean, look, they've got fantastic players. I think Sarr is so class, and I mean, hats off to him for staying with the team when they got relegated a couple seasons ago. I think they've really made some good improvements to their squad, and they play well, man. I mean, they've been bringing it to teams, and I really do think there's a place in this league for them, and I think they're contenders to stay up for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Southampton, they lost home to Wolves after getting a point from Man City. They lost to Wolves. The first half was absolutely terrible to watch. Like I just can't tell you. I was just like, what am I watching? Why these two teams you don't want to play? But again, second half was a little bit more lively. Jimenez, I'm really happy for Jimenez that he scored after the injury last year since October. I'm very happy for the guy.
And what a goal!
Yeah, and what
I mean,
goal.
just incredible. Yeah, and you saw how much it meant to him. I mean, it was awesome to see. I mean, I don't think there's a single person in the world except maybe a few Southampton fans who are upset to see that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hassan, so going to Southampton, Hasenhüttl is a guy. He's a philosopher. He's somebody who likes to play from the back, doesn't just like to pump the ball forward, and they try to do that. But I think they are struggling without Danny Ings. They need the number 9 that will put the ball in the back of the net. In the back of the net.
Yeah. No, I mean, you look at it, just shows what an incredible player Danny Ings is. I mean, the amount of goals he was scoring consistently season after season, he guarantees you at least 15 goals in the Premier League every year. I mean, that's incredible, especially on a side like Southampton. But no, I think this goes down to their recruitment because I think they have a good system, but I just don't know if they have the personnel to continue. After getting rid of Danny Ings, I mean, to be fair, it was late into the window, but it's like you got to bring somebody in who can at least do some sort of damage to the opposition's defense. And I mean, Shea Adams is a good little striker, but he needs a partner to be able to really thrive.
And I don't think Armstrong is doing the best job in that squad. But I hope that they don't struggle because I like Hasenhüttl and I think he's a good manager. But it's not looking good for them results-wise. You watch their games and they play good football. They have ball position. They create some chances. But results-wise, it's not looking great for them. The last game is going to be played on Monday. Crystal Palace, Brighton. Brighton win, they go top of the league. Crystal Palace, They need results. Patrick Vieira, yes, they won against Tottenham, but they need better results because it looks like they're onto something, but it's not showing. It showed only one game against
Yeah.
Spurs, only when Spurs went down. But Patrick Vieira, I think he has a plan. It looks like he has a plan going forward, but I think they need results.
Yeah, I agree. I think they do need results going forward. I do have to give Patrick Vieira credit, though. I mean, this is a big project that he took on. Just the huge roster changes that Crystal Palace side went through, and I do think the philosophy that he's kind of bringing to Crystal Palace to be less of this counter-attacking side that's a little bit more disciplined to more of this free-flowing creative team it's a good change. And I mean, you have good talent in there. I think Gallagher, the loanee from Chelsea, has just been phenomenal. And I think you get guys off of injury like Esse in there, and I think they have a really dangerous side. And you even see guys like Zaha, who I think are really starting to kind of buy in now, especially since Zaha gets to play on a little bit more of a creative side than he was beforehand. But no, I mean, I'm not extremely worried for them in the way that I think I was at the beginning of the season. But I don't think they're going to be contending for top 10. I think they'll be fine, but I don't think they're going to be contending for top 10 or anything close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have big games coming next week. Big games.
Oh, man, yeah.
I think as of now, this is the biggest game in English football, Liverpool, Man City. Are we expecting an open game?
I really think Liverpool is Man City's kryptonite. A lot of the times we see it. I think Man City does the best when they play against a team that likes to sit back and let Man City have possession. And Liverpool plays such a high line that I think this is honestly Liverpool's game to win. I think I have them ahead of Man City right now. I think they cause so many problems consistently for Man City, especially when they're trying to build out of the back, that I really think that this is Liverpool's game to win.
Liverpool are going to play Porto midweek while City play PSG. So it's a little bit a different challenge.
Mm-hmm.
City, this is a very big game. If they want to top the group, they have to, even though PSG tied the first game, but I think they have to win one of the two games against PSG, and they're playing against Leo Messi and Messi against Guardiola again. It's gonna, but now with Neymar and Mbappe, this is gonna be tough for them. Man United play Everton.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game, I think, to me, this is a game that will show us where every team wants to finish and how they want to play this season.
Yeah. I think I have Man United winning that game. Honestly, I think they're just they're such a good team right now, and I think, like you were saying, I think people are freaking out for a little bit of no reason almost. You know what I mean? I think people are just getting a little bit ahead of themselves because of some controversial things going on right now, and maybe some dropping points where they shouldn't have been. But those things happen. I think overall they're a good team. I think they have the quality to beat Everton. And going back, I guess, just to the Liverpool City kind of matchup, I think City playing PSG is just going to be a game where City blows PSG out of the water.
Wow.
I really think so, because I think the reason why I have this bit of a hot take here is that if you've watched the PSG games going on right now, obviously they're dominant possession, but you look at their front three when they have Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi on, those players do not defend. And when you have Man City controlling a majority of the possession and you have three players not willing to defend, PSG is going to have a rough time. So yeah. I really think that City is going to tear into them. And
yeah, that's the difference between both teams. Like City, everybody works really hard when they lose the ball to get it back. But then the three guys up front in PSG, I don't think they're basically playing with 8 players, 7 players, and the goalkeeper when they don't have the ball.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's it, to be honest. Yeah. And so I get your point. I see where you're coming from. It's exactly this. But the quality that these three possess you can't just get past this. Like this is they can create problems after problems after problems every time they touch the ball. And this is what the PSG owners and the management relying on, that every time they get the ball, they're going to create something. I think that's what it is. Uh, I think we are on to. I think this is going to be one of the best seasons we've seen lately in the Premier League, and I hope that the teams stay sharp, like that the big teams stay sharp, and I think.
Mm,
I hope that we don't see a lot of injuries like the Van Dijk injury last year, and
yeah,
even someone like Everton. They lost Allen for half the season last year, and
right.
I hope that these teams stay healthy and everybody stay healthy, so we can see the best of the Premier League after fans are coming back in full effect in the stadiums. We saw that in every game. This is lively. This is amazing. Uh, I want to thank you for coming in with me. It was absolutely brilliant chatting with you, Premier League, and I think we'll see you. We'll see you more. Uh, we'll see how we go this season, and maybe we'll see you in the next episode or something. But thank you so much, Kaeman, for coming. Thank you, my brother.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me on. Always a good time and an excuse for me to chat about Premier League. Can't
Thank you
complain
so much
about it.
for coming, and congrats for the win today for every Gooner. Congrats, guys, and
Yeah.
make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe to our channel. And we're always trying to create a good content for everybody. We have shows every day of the week and different, like the Serie A and every other league as well. Make sure you like us. You find us on Twitter, find us on YouTube, everywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And you can find us wherever you get your podcast, and you can find us on YouTube. Thank you so much, and on to the next episode, hopefully next week, with an amazing week like this one. Thank you.